There are secrets so intense that most women will never say them out loud. Not because they don't want them, but because they're afraid of being judged. Hidden fantasies, movements that awaken hidden fibers of her body and that, if you master them, can make her lose control in a matter of seconds. Today I'm going to reveal 3 of those forbidden moves, and believe me, once you put them into practice, she will never look at you the same way again. The first is what I call the devastating pause. Most men think that pleasing her is about speed or strength, but in reality the power lies in control. Imagine this: your lips travel over her mouth with intensity, then down her neck, slowly to her chest, and just when you feel her breathing quicken, you stop. No more than 5 seconds, but long enough for her mind to scream inside. Why did he stop? That pause, accompanied by your fixed gaze, with your lips brushing against her skin without touching it, creates a short circuit in her brain. It's erotic frustration, and that frustration activates more dopamine than the contact itself. When you resume, you do it with double the intensity. Firmer kisses, steadier hands, a movement that seems to reclaim what you just denied her. That's when you drive her crazy, because without realizing it, you've taken her on an up and down of tension that few men know how to handle. The second forbidden move is even more powerful because it breaks her expectations, the unexpected route. Everyone expects you to go straight for the obvious, but the key lies in making her feel that every part of her body is a trigger. Start in a safe place: her neck, the earlobe, the collarbone. Then, instead of going straight down, divert your path to the inner part of her arm, slowly, with your tongue or with kisses that barely graze her skin. Slide your hand over the curve of her lower back, move down slowly to the inner part of her thighs, but instead of touching where she already expects, play it circling the area. Just barely brush the edge of her hip, her navel, the line between her thigh and her waist with the tips of your fingers. Do it so slowly that her skin tingles. Here the key is not to give in right away. Keep the suspense. When you finally touch her most sensitive spot, she will react with an explosion, because her body will have been building tension like a spring about to release. I want you to imagine the full scene. She's lying down, eyes closed, not knowing where you'll go next. Your hands press gently on the back of her thighs while your lips play with her lower abdomen. You change the pressure, sometimes just a faint brush, other times a deep kiss. What you achieve is that her brain cannot anticipate what's coming, and that mystery multiplies her arousal. It's not just physical pleasure, it's a total hijacking of her imagination. And here's what almost no one knows: these moves aren't just erotic games, they are psychological tools. Women live desire with the mind as much as with the body. A well-placed pause, an unexpected detour, an innocent-looking touch in the wrong place. They are triggers that confuse the brain and force it to surrender to pleasure. That's what separates an ordinary man from one who leaves a mark. And if you think this is already powerful, wait until you hear what comes next. Because the third forbidden move not only combines the physical and the psychological, it can make a woman lose control in less than a minute, as if you had discovered the secret button to her pleasure. And believe me, when you apply it, she won't just give herself to you. She'll beg you to do it again. The third forbidden move is not simply a physical gesture. It is almost an intimate choreography that plays with the senses and, when executed correctly, can transform a caress into an explosion of uncontrollable pleasure. I call it the controlled ascent, but in reality, it is much more than that. It is the way you turn every second into a gradual rise of tension until her body can no longer resist. The secret lies in not giving everything at once. Imagine that your mouth, your hands, and your breathing are instruments of the same orchestra. At the beginning, your mouth barely grazes, it doesn't attack directly. Make slow circular movements, as if you were drawing invisible strokes with your tongue on areas close to her center of pleasure, but without touching it. Meanwhile, your left hand can trace the side of her hip, and your right hand caresses the edge of her thigh softly. In other words, 3 stimuli at once, none of them direct, all of them playing with her expectations. When you notice her breathing begin to change, when her hips move on their own as if begging for more, that's where the first acceleration comes in. Increase the pressure of your tongue, change the rhythm from circular to zigzag, and at the same time press her hips slightly with your hand. That generates a contrast. Softness in one place and firmness in another. Her brain doesn't know what to focus on and, unable to choose, it surrenders to the pleasure. Here comes a detail that almost no one applies: the change of temperature. Moisten your mouth with saliva, caress one point with heat and then blow softly to cool it. That difference in sensations activates nerve receptors that are rarely stimulated together, and the result is that her skin reacts with a shiver that runs through her entire body. Many men think it's only about speed, when in reality it's the contrast that triggers uncontrollable bursts of pleasure. But the most powerful part of this move is the strategic pause. Just when she's about to let go, stop. Stay still for a few seconds. Let the tension build. She may even release a sigh of frustration, but that's the effect you want. Her body will beg for more, her mind will be trapped in desire. And when you resume, don't do it in the same place or with the same intensity. Change the route. If you were on her lower belly, rise slowly toward her chest. If you were on her thigh, cross with your tongue to the other side. The surprise reignites her desire as if it were the very first touch. Now, there is an even more advanced variation that few dare to try. The cross-play. This is where you coordinate mouth and fingers precisely. While your tongue makes quick circular movements, your fingers keep a slower rhythm, caressing in another direction. It's as if her body were receiving two opposing rhythms at the same time, and that sensory contradiction completely disarms her. Her brain can't process it all and, instead of control, what emerges is absolute surrender to pleasure. I want you to imagine the scene, her hands trying to cling to the sheets, her back arching as an automatic response, her moans turning into a language only you understand. That's when you realize it's not about force, but about surgical precision applied to desire. And there's more. Many believe that a female orgasm comes only from physical stimulation, but the real secret lies in the mind. That's why this third move must be accompanied by words. Yes, talk to her. Whisper what you're doing, tell her you know she's about to lose control, that you can feel her trembling, that her body is begging you even if she doesn't say it. The mixture of physical stimulation with psychological suggestion is so powerful that it accelerates climax. It's been proven. The female brain responds to the images you create with your words almost as much as to what you do with your tongue and your hands. And if you want to take it to the highest level, combine all of this with control of breathing. Match her rhythm by breathing heavily when she does, or holding your breath when the pause is most intense. That synchrony creates a deep biological bond, as if the two of you were a single body, and that detail is what turns an orgasm into something unforgettable. Here is the real hook. When you master these moves, especially the controlled ascent, you don't just give her pleasure. You create dependence. She won't be able to compare you to anyone else because no other man will have played with her body and mind in this way. That is the difference between a fleeting encounter and a mark that stays engraved in her memory. So tell me in the comments, which part of this move would you apply first? The devastating pause, the temperature change, or the crossplay? Or would you dare to use it all in a single encounter? Subscribe because what you've just heard is nothing compared to the next secrets I'm going to reveal. Secrets that take pleasure to territories very few have ever explored. And remember, your greatest power is not in what you do once, but in what you know how to repeat with mastery so that she can never forget you.